To defense break or to not defense break? That's the question we're going to answer today. Hey, what's going on, Knights? Name is the Gamer. We'll go back to another epic video. So today, actually, what you're looking at is just my. I'm recording the face cam and the background recording separately. I don't normally do that, but for this occasion, for the next 3 videos, I think I'm going to do that because I'm not gonna have much. like if I thought about it, if I had my phone recording while I was talking, nothing would be happening. So you're gonna probably have farming in the background or whatever. But today we're gonna be talking about defense break, and reason why is because actually Tywin, his banner is out right now, and he's one of the best defense breakers. So I wanted to kind of cover the topic of would you want a defense breaker or not. But before we get started, if you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button. If your subscribe button is still red, turn it gray. 80% of y'all who watch are not subscribed, so I really appreciate it. Just get that out the way. Now back to the video. I want to get, actually, first thing I want to cover is myths on defense break, AOE defense breakers, and I think I should clarify that. We're talking about AOE defense breakers. So one myth that I don't know if it's everybody, but for me, I thought that when I got Tywin or I got Bellona, my game would change. I'm like, man, PvP is going to be so much easier with these heroes, and that is actually a myth. Sorry to break hearts out there, but when I first, so let me start this off by, I had a different mindset when it came to defense break. So I came from a game called Summoner's War. If you don't know what Summoner's War is, do not play it. It's too crazy right now. I think it's 7 years in, and it's too much. It becomes way too overwhelming. Yeah, so anyways, in that game, there is a unit in that game called Galleon, and he actually does AOE defense break and attack buff for your whole team. It is awesome. Everybody knows about him. You use him practically everywhere. You don't have that in this game, where the defense break, especially in that game, it doesn't actually, it technically has elemental advantage because it doesn't hit anybody. It just kind of like, it's kind of like Flan, right? Flan does her defense break where it doesn't land. It just goes through effect resistance check. It's kind of like that, except he gives the team an entire attack buff. So why do I bring that game up is because in this game, it's a lot less valuable in a way. Yes, you do get, and I'm going to give the pros and cons as to why, like pros and cons for each of them. Now, reason why I said I started comparing that game is because I was like, okay, Tywin seems to be the Galleon of this game, right? The one that will give you attack buff, crit buff, combat readiness boost, and AOE defense break, and he's tanky as well. Man, this is like the perfect unit for PvP. And yes, in a sense that is true if you have the gear, first off, the gear and the luck on your side, because you have to have a whole bunch of speed, you have to have a whole bunch of effectiveness on Tywin himself. And I'm not even talking about other defense breakers. I'm talking about Tywin specifically because, like I said, banner and give more than just defense break like other defense breakers. So yeah, so the reason why I was talking about that is because I was like, man, he's going to change my game. Like when I got him, I think I even said it in the video, when I got him, he's going to change my game, this is and that, and that was incorrect. Mostly because I don't think I geared the units correctly, and a lot of defenses now are directed more of whoever has the highest speed, they will end up screwing you. So in my last video, which I just published, Fairy Tale Tenebria, I got screwed because Arbiter Vildred, I expected him to be slow, but he was the fastest one, faster than anybody on my team. And I ended up losing because guess what? Everybody on my team had miss-it chance, and that's something that can actually mess a team up. Also, big disclaimer, this video is more specifically for Arena. I know I'm saying PvP a lot, but I'm talking more Arena, so this might not work in RTA or in Guild War setting, because funny enough, even though they're all PvP, they're all, you have different playstyles for each one. I may mention Guild Wars here and there. I'm definitely not mentioning RTA because I don't play RTA too much to the point where I'm a pro at it. So we'll just talk about that. So I just want to throw that in there. Pure damage. Let's talk about the pros for pure damage. First off, it is simple. It is simple. Let's say you have A-Lots, right? Or you have Rose, or you have whatever. It is so much simple for pure damage because all you need is that combat readiness booster, or 2 combat readiness boosters if your attacker is slow. Also, it is faster. When I say faster, it can mean win faster losing or winning. That's the thing about this team, is that about this type of comp, is that if somebody outspeeds you, you practically end up losing for the most part. So the battle's decided like that. For the most part, so that ends up being not as a pain in the butt, because sometimes you're like, all right, am I gonna win this or am I gonna lose this? Are we gonna do this? Kind of deal. You want to kind of just get in there, have 15-20 second matches, not minute to minute matches, right? So you get in there, whether you win or lose, it's all determined on that. This point is, I don't know if it's for everybody. I'm gonna say for me, it was easier for me to get into arena this way. Now, reason why I say this is because I was avoiding arena for a really long time. Because I just couldn't find the comp. I tried following teams, like how some certain YouTubers did arena, and I'm like, man, I want to do that. How do you get up there? This is in a way an easier way to get into arena, because it's easier to build in a way. All you need to do is, like I said, have a really fast, and I know some people have struggles with speed, and yeah, it does suck, but at least for me, it got easier for me to get into arena. I'm like, all right, well, at least I know what teams to attack. I'm actually in challenger right now. It is not the highest, and I don't know if other ranks differ, but it was easier for me to get into arena, and I was able to at least have fun in arena this way. And then I was able to build other teams after that, because I was like, all right, well, I know I can attack certain teams, and now I'm like, all right, well, if this team can't attack this other team, then I need to make another team for this. Okay, so I wrote this down. I don't know. I don't even know what I'm trying to say, but this is built correctly, it does enough damage. If built correctly, it does enough damage. I don't know if this is true for all AOE attackers. I know for a fact for Crayon, it definitely is for me. So let's say you put all your investments in Bloodblade Karen, right? Or you put all your investments in Vildred, or you put all your investments in ML Mercedes, heroes like that. Built correctly, you can actually do enough damage and can attack most arena defenses. Like I said, I feel like I keep saying the same points, but you can attack a lot of arena defenses, because a lot of arena defenses, like I said, are reliant on one hero being extremely fast, because right now speed is king. All you need to do is worry about outspeeding. Last but certainly not least, you can build your attacker slow and fat juicy damage. About building attackers slow, I would recommend building 2 attackers, because there's a lot of AOE attackers out there, right? So I would recommend building only 2 heroes slow. Because the thing is that if you have this mentality of, oh, I'm gonna have all my AOE attackers slow, then guess what? When you end up, let's say in Guild Wars, if you end up losing A-Lots, what are you gonna do then? You can't, your attackers are too slow, and this is actually gonna be brought into a point for defense breakers. That's kind of what I recommend. Build only 2 heroes slow, because then you're able to kind of have a variety of units, and not just kind of the same units kind of mixed in. You're like, well, if I have this unit, why am I going to use Bloodblade Karen or ML Mercedes or X hero if I have this unit already built, or these already built? It gives you a variety. Cons for using pure damage: it is risky. So let's say there is a Fallen Cecilia, right? You're obviously not going to do enough damage there. Also, there are times where you end up needing that little bit of HP, that one hero that you wanted to kill has that little bit of HP left. That is risky as well. There are times where it is going to be risky, and if you want to be on the safer side, then I would not suggest pure damage, because it is risky. Second con requires A-lots usually. Of course, there are alternatives like MO Rose, there is regular Rose, there's regular lots, there is Tamarind, etc. Yes, there is, but usually for the most part, with these comps, you see everybody using A-lots. I'm not gonna say everybody has A-lots, which is why I put this in the cons list, because not everybody does have A-lots, and if the majority does, then awesome, this isn't a con. But for the most part, it is so much easier to have A-lots, because guess what? Combat readiness boosts your hero 100%. They're getting a turn. He gives him an attack buff, and then on top of that, he's a mage, so he's able to carry Tagahells, which needs burn as well, right? Last con is investment in one attacker. So the thing about Epic 7 is that, like, it's like butter. You want to spread your Mologoras or your investments evenly, which is not good in this case, because you want to invest in one attacker specifically if you want to succeed in Arena. Because if you spread your, let's say, your best attacker set, right? If you use 2 of your best attacker gear on one unit, you're like, well, I have, let's say, Elma Mercedes, Bloodblade Karen, and Cowrick, right? Let's just say those 3, right? Let's say you put your best attacker gear on like 2 on each, right? You're 2, because that's one set of really good attacker gear, right? If you want to use one, guess what? They're not going to output that much damage if you put all of those gear into one unit. So that's why I mean by invest in one attacker, whoever you want to invest in. The thing about Epic 7, and I'm going to make a video on this, this is going to be one of the videos I make soon, is that, like, whoever you invest in, it's going to be good. Because that's how they made the game, really. If you invest in Vildred, he's gonna do good damage. If you invest in Crayon, he's gonna do good damage. If you invest in Bloodblade Karen, she's gonna do good damage. If you invest in Melma Mercedes, she's gonna do good damage. If you invest in Cowrick, he's gonna do good damage. If you invest in any of these heroes, you're gonna do a lot of damage. So, but that's kind of why it's a con, because you're gonna have to be like, all right, who do I want to focus on? Because usually you have so many AOE attackers, you want to build all of them at once. Let's go to the defense breaks. Pros on defense break: more damage, obviously, especially in Guild Wars. In Guild Wars, it is a different setting because you can't usually one-shot things. Usually in Guild Wars settings, they kind of throw you off. They're like, let's make them tankier. So big reason why is because you can't attack that defense once you click that, I want to attack this now. In Arena, you can at least be like, all right, that person threw me off with that, but I'll beat them with this team. And the thing about Guild Wars is that, like, if they make Vildred tanky with damage, like let's say he's speed, crit damage, HP, right? And you don't end up killing him, then guess what? You're screwed, and then you're not gonna end up doing. So that's why defense break is a lot more valuable in Guild Wars, because you're able to put out more damage in place of just trying to do pure damage. Yes, and also I'm putting this as a point. Yes, it is more fun when it works because it's a lot more smooth. You get to feel like the big YouTubers because they use these comps a lot. So it is a lot more fun when it does work. Yes, this is a pro. Can build attackers slow if they have immunity. So let's say they have immunity and the other team is heavily reliant on, let's say, Dizzy or whatever, as long as their attackers are not moving first. Now, like I said, when I say build attacker slow, that does not mean 0 speed. And last but not least, this is the formula that endgame users use. YDCB use Tywin a lot, and that's why, like, I'm saying Tywin a lot because I keep having to say this, but it's his banner. So, but yeah, endgame users usually do use defense break because it's a lot more efficient. There are, let's say, Fallen Cecilia's out there. If you strip let's say the shield is there and you end up defense breaking them, you'll be able to break the shield a lot faster and easier this way. Now the cons. Yes, there unfortunately a lot of cons on this. So it takes a lot more to set up than just pure damage. Pure damage, you just need a CR booster and then an attacker. At least for defense break, you need to have a stripper. And the thing is that you need to kind of be picky on who you attack, because let's say if your stripper is Bazaar, if Lilius is there, you can get screwed by that, by her going and then messing up your turn orders, right? Then you need to obviously land the defense break. You need to make sure that he does. I have Oath Key on my Tywin specifically for that, because I'm like, I need to land defense breaks on Charles or Earth Heroes Unite, and then on top of that, in a way, you do need speed. I know I literally just said in the pros that you can build attackers slow, but you need them to be at a close enough range to each other that, like, let's say Tywin, right? You need them to be in a close enough range to each other that when you use his second skill, when the second skill that boosts attack, crit chance, and combat readiness boost, if your attacker is too slow, the opponent will lap you, will go first, and that has happened to me where it has messed me up, and that's why I need to fix that. And that's something that, yes, takes a lot more thinking, analysis, and this is why it's a lot harder to build these teams, because it requires a lot more stat efficiency. Bringing back to the overall defense break, some heroes do not have 100% defense break. Tywin in that case does. Bellona does it with her exclusive equipment. I think Bala Sazan does not have 100% defense break. Flan, I think, does, or really high chance, like 85% or something like that. But not, some heroes do not have 100% chance, and that kind of defeats the purpose of them being there, because sometimes RNG will screw you and end up being like, all right, you're not getting any defense breaks today. Well, guess what? You're screwed. That's the end of the game right there, which does suck, because you want this to work. You want this to be reliable. And this kind of segues into the next point, which is effectiveness check. You need to have enough effectiveness, and on top of that, effect resistance check. So if you get, I think I've recently found out about this. If you get 15%, which means that there's a 15% chance of you getting resisted. So there is that RNG of just getting screwed by that. Also, having enough burns. Burns is a big essential to arena, because you need to have let's say there's a Fallen Cecilia, right? And everybody has immunity. You're like, crap, I need to now use the burns for Basar, right? Because I definitely need them to be pushed back. Well, guess what? Now you don't have burns for Tywin, or you don't have burns for your attacker, which will do more damage. That means that you need to have maybe 2 Tagaha holders. And there is a lot more AoE attackers to AoE defense break ratio. So especially being used right now, really the only one you see used for AoE defense breakers are Tywin. Of course, Seaside Bellona doesn't count because hers isn't an actual, like, hers is a passive. Tywin is one of the ones mostly being used. You don't see Ball and Sazan. You don't really see, you see Flan every now and then, right? She's starting to build her way up there. But a lot of these are drowned out, because there's a lot more AoE attackers out there that are really up in par with each other. They're usually like I said, like, depending on what flavor of hero you want to use. Like, I use Crown, and most of you probably don't use Crown the way I use them. Y'all probably build them with speed, or don't. Like, I use them as just an AoE attacker, so a lot of people probably invested in Bloodblade Karen or Emma Mercedes or Vildred or whatever, and those are all really good. They're all on par with each other, because they all do damage enough to kill. Now, defense breakers, on the other hand, do not do this. They don't provide the same thing. Some AoE defense breakers like Bal and Sazan provide debuffs, or let's say Flan, where all she needs to do is go through effectiveness and resistance check. Tywin obviously has the additional turn with his third skill, AoE defense break, and then have the combat readiness boost, attack buff, and crit chance, and then Bellona, she's more of an attacker. You don't usually see her more used as a defense breaker. So that's why I'm saying a lot more attackers to defense break ratio. There's a lot more AoE attackers than there are. So that's why it is a con. That's why it's much easier to just build more damage. And then, I don't know if this would break the game, but there isn't a hero, like I mentioned in the beginning, there isn't a Galleon in this game. There isn't a a hero that gives attack buff, AOE attack buff, and AOE defense break for the team. There isn't a hero like that, and I don't know if it is because it would break the game or just because that's like their ace above their sleeve. They're like, all right, once we're running out of stuff, we're gonna drop this hero, and yeah. But anyways, that is it for today's video. I wanted to I thought about this the other day. I think I was watching, yes, I still do watch Summoners War content, even though I don't play the game. But I thought about this. I forgot what happened, but it made me think. I was like, that's true. Why haven't I made a video where I talk about comparing the two, where it's like pure damage or AOE defense break? So anyways, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know what y'all think down below. I feel like for me anyways, this is what I was thinking. Sometimes, for the most part, pure damage is a bit easier. I mean, anybody who has Judge Kisei knows this, because you don't need a defense breaker. Of course, it is valuable, but it's not really needed. So in a way, long story short, it won't change your game as much as you think it will. At least for me anyways, I thought it was going to day and night type of deal, where I was gonna be able to win arena so much easier or whatever. And that's the same case I had thought of when I got Bologna as well. I was like, man, I need an AOE defense breaker. I will end up wrecking arena, and that is not the case. So like I said, y'all let me know down below, did I miss something? And yeah, that's all I wanted to talk about. So anyways, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Every like, comment, subscription is appreciated, and I'll see you on the next video or stream. All right, peace.